Welcome back to another episode of Control the Chaos Mama podcast. I am Angel McElhaney, your host, and today I have a real treat for you. So over the last couple weeks, I've been participating in a special event for Simply Christmas. It was all about lessening our hustle and focusing on what matters most through Christmas. Now I realize we're in the new year, Christmas is over, but if you're like me, you might be playing catch up on actually figuring out what it is that you want to do over the next really year. And so part of that might be to get really intentional. So if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in, this is actually my episode from the Simply Christmas, which is all about setting intentions as an entrepreneur, as a photographer, as really someone who is trying to juggle all the things in motherhood and entrepreneurship. And I hate the word balance, so I hope that you take this episode today and you really zone in on feeling more centered. And if you haven't had a chance yet to go and consume all the other amazing episodes on the IPS Made Easy podcast, I will link it in the show notes. Go check them out. They are each amazing, and they are literally talking about all the different facets of your life and how you can pour into those with intention for the new year. It's the perfect thing to go and listen to as you set your intentions and your priorities for this next year. So my episode today is what I'm going to share with you today. It is all about really zoning into your impact and what matters and making meaning of your hard stuff. Your story is important, and I hope that this helps you to see that and use it to help others. All right. Let's go. Have you ever thought, who am I? Who am I to do this thing? There's already someone out there doing it better than me. There's already these people who maybe don't have all these kids running around. Maybe there's someone that it just seems easier for them to be able to pull it off. And I want to take a second to help you gain some self-awareness today, to allow your business to be firmly planted in purpose, and also give you some insight on how to control the chaos when it comes to our thoughts, when it comes to just all the things that enter in our self-doubt and imposter syndrome and all that keeps us from stepping into purpose and making meaning of our hard stuff. I'm your guest host, Angel McElhaney, and it's an honor to be a guest speaker for the IPS Made Easy podcast. Welcome to the show. I'm super excited about all of these episodes for Simply Christmas. Definitely go back and listen if you have not had the chance to listen to all these episodes. These are amazing, amazing women, and I have loved every single episode. So I'm the host of Control the Chaos Mama podcast. I'm a boudoir photographer out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and a mom of 4 with kids ranging from 17 all the way down to 3. So I guess you could say I know chaos. I'm actually also a recent grad of Destiny Tillery's program for Serve to Sell, and have made some huge uncomfortable changes in my business this year and have seen so much success for it. So definitely listen to her podcast. This is an amazing place for you to learn and grow, and some of that is uncomfortable. So let's get to it. Today I'm going to give you 5 steps to make meaning of your hard stuff by owning your story. It is my hope that this gives you clarity, that it helps you with your messaging in your business, but also in your why. The why of you do this. Why are you choosing to put down your phone and be intentional with your family? Why are you choosing to build boundaries around your scheduling for your sessions? And why are you ready to put away the hustle long enough to at least plan a path to where you're going? So as a former shoot and burn photographer, as someone who has been doing photography for so long, I know that you have to be tired, or if you are doing it really well of juggling the shoot and burn photography and just all the sessions and all the stuff, that there is a ball that you are probably dropping. So to control the chaos, you don't actually control it at all. You focus on just that next right step in the vision of who you want to become and the difference you want to make in the world. And as my mom used to say, the rest, you just kind of give it to God. So step 1 for my process is going to be self-awareness. Kind of looking at who you are and gaining some clarity around this. And so I am a fan of action steps. So I'm going to give you an action step along each of these. So if you need to pause it to actually go do the thing, or come back later to listen in and to do the actual exercise, please screenshot this episode and tag Destiny and I. Go to her amazing Facebook group and share your homework, so to speak. But I'm a former teacher, so I had to give you homework, I guess. But I want you to ask, what is my story? Grab a piece of paper, draw a line down the center of this paper, And then I want you to plot your big life experiences. I want you to put all the positive ones on the top and the negative ones on the bottom. And I want you to see what sticks out. This is going to be kind of an exercise of seeing what pivotal moments or milestone happenings seem to basically build who you are today. A lot of times we don't tend to give our experiences the weighted and value that they do, but that is what molds us into who we are, so much of it. And so while we might, look at our skills that we have or the passions that we really love to do and all these things, we don't always value those experiences as much. And I think this is a chance for you to slow down and see, what did you overcome? I know for me, this list included positive things like my kids being born, marrying my husband, graduating college, but it also had a lot of hard things like losing my mom when she was just 48. And honestly, realizing my dad was addicted to pills after losing her. It had so many things. The point is that there are going to be so many positive and negative things on this list, but I want you to do kind of a brain dump and think, what does this timeline look like? The spots that stick out are going to probably help to guide your story and your mission, or rebellion, I like to call it, when you are really framing your messaging as to who you want to help. Because if you can find out who you want to help, it's probably someone who has been in some of that hard stuff like you. And that is going to fuel your really just fire to keep the business going, as well as give you the energy. So step 2 is going to be self-worth. What do I want? I always think of that scene in Notebook where he's yelling at her, what do you want? Because it's just like that. If we can know where we're going, where we want to go, then we'll have a clear path to getting there. And the key thing around this is self-worth for me. So what are you feeling like you're worthy of having? What limits have you set on yourself to block your growth, to maybe stamp out any ease that could be there for you and that could cloud your mind with the lies that you aren't good enough? We tend to self-sabotage, and this is something that happens for step 3. So what is in the way? I want you to do a fear setting exercise here, and you're going to be able to prepare for what could happen, repair those negative beliefs that you could have around it, and almost troubleshoot your way out of it. So if this happened, if you changed your prices, if you didn't do photo shoots on the weekends, if you quit doing weddings, whatever this looks like for you, if you put your phone down or maybe have office hours or whatever that looks like to you, what are the worst things that could happen? And I want you to think of those. And then what you would do is you would repair those. Well, this is what I would do if this happened. And a lot of times what you're going to find is that your worst case scenario is what you're actually living in now. It's like, could I get back to the safe, comfortable spot that I'm in now where I work all the time or I do all the things? Well, of course you can. Once you realize that you are literally living in the worst case scenario, you just made yourself a way out of it and fuel to make the change because you have nothing to lose. We're always kind of surprised that something we are, that we're new at, that we're not perfect at. We almost expect to be perfect. And so we think that we'll decide to do something totally brand new and then act surprised whenever we fail at it a little. We need to normalize the failing. And so this is all about pushing past your fears and a lot of mindset work. And so this might take you time. And so that's really what this past year, honestly, has been for me. And so I want you guys to do some work around what you're afraid of. And then the next step is self-control. What will get me there? And to me, that's habit. And my inner creative rebel is crying inside. And so if you're a creative rebel too, I totally understand if you're there with me. But habits, routines, and rituals are what are going to establish not just boundaries, binding you to a schedule, but they're going to give you a string of to-dos that you can use to kind of see what all you have to get done. And so if this sounds like something that you are going to loathe, I want to tell you that it's really just giving you steps that you decided you needed to get to the place you wanted to be in the vision. It's actually, you have power over it. It doesn't have power over you. And it's the part that kind of minds the gap that grows your confidence. It gives you little micro steps so you can start tiptoeing yourself to become the person that you wanted to be in that vision, gain confidence each way, and giving yourself proof that you can actually do this, that you're worthy. This will validate your journey and give you the energy to keep going. It'll be uncomfortable, I'm telling you, but growth always will be. There's actually a quote on my fridge that my mom had written before she died, and it's on there right now in her handwriting, and it says, "God loves you just the way you are, but loves you too much to stay there. You are meant to grow. You will get through those hard seasons and you will use your hard stuff to make big change in the world. But you have to keep going. You have to get into the uncomfortable and step out and just do the thing. And lastly, the last one is mindset. And for me, this is so much to do with what I call the 3 C's of results. And they are community, consistency, and connection. I want you to find people. And I know that is so hard right now, and that life can be kind of a mirage sometimes of connection with all the technology and the Facebook and all the stuff. But you're not meant to do it alone. You don't need a ton of people, but find yourself a few people that will have your back, that will know what you want, and that will help you to honestly push through any negative self-talk or be able to encourage you whenever you need it. You literally will get where you want to go if you just don't stop. It does not matter how much you falter or fail. Consistency is the next one. And I know this sounds like a joke for someone with ADHD. It's almost like a curse word or like something like that, because it's something that I can't seem to grab my hands around. But it's not. Even if consistency is simply the fact of not giving up and starting over and over and over, that's okay. Clarity comes with action, so make sure that you just get stubborn about what you want. Now, stubborn, that's something I know well. So if you've ever felt that, like, there's something that I want to make happen, I will pave a way, I will make this important, then you will do it. And so I think that whenever we get in the part where we realize what our hard stuff is, and we give it the power behind a strong why statement of why we want to do this, why it's important for us to not work those nights and weekends, or why it's important for us to charge more so that we'll be able to provide for our family and maybe take stress off our marriage or whatever that is, that lasting connection is the next one, because that's what we're fighting for, okay? Connection is the point of all of it. If you don't have connection, then what is the point? Connection to ourselves, God, and the world, and connection is the part that lights the path. Follow it, be intentional, and use your hard stuff to make a difference. I know this can sometimes sound a little cheesy, I get it, but it really is. I want you to almost think about a car or like a trip. Like if you're planning a trip, where do you want to go? What are you going to need to pack to get through it? Are you going to, did you get lost a couple exits back and you can give someone else the directions, aka help them through that hard part? Because there's either experience that you grow through it or a lesson or something. There is something. Life is a journey. And guess what? Now I'm wanting to go on a road trip. So there we go. So anyway, I hope that you found this episode helpful for you. I hope you guys tune in to the rest of this Simply Christmas series that Destiny's putting on. It is a wealth of information and it is happening right whenever I need it. So I hope it is for you too. So if you'd like to connect with me, my podcast again is Control the Chaos Mama and my IG is angel.mcelhaney or Control the Chaos Mama podcast. I hope that you guys have a great Christmas and I hope that you really start taking a look at what really matters and slow down this holiday season. Thank you so much for listening to this episode from the Simply Christmas podcast summit that I participated in last month. I hope that you go over to the IPS Made Easy podcast and really dive in to figuring out what you want to do for the new year. I hope that you found value in today's episode, and if you did, screenshot this episode and share it over on social. You can tag me at angel.mcelhaney or Destiny Tillery, who is running the summit at IPS Made Easy. Wishing you joy and abundance, Angel.